Holidays are just around the corner, and I've been thinking about simplifying my home in small steps to avoid feeling overwhelmed. It's so easy to get lost in the chaos, but I want to create space for what truly matters. For me, it's time with family and the joy of the season. Life, like our homes, goes through phases. Toys get swapped out, routines change, and priorities shift. That's why I've embraced intentional living. Not quite minimalism, but more mindful choices. After all, they're just objects, things, and there's no need to let them steal your peace. I think simplifying doesn't have to be overwhelming. It's about finding small pockets of time to make little changes that add up in the end. And before you know it, your home feels lighter, more functional, and calm. It's a space that truly works for you. I've been putting off decluttering this desk for a while now, months actually. It's not chaotic or anything, but you know when something just feels like it needs a refresh? I'm starting with this desk drawer. It's nothing sentimental, just practical, and that makes it the perfect place to begin. I use it every single day, so giving it a little bit of attention will have a big impact. It's a simple low-pressure task that can create real change without feeling overwhelming. And if you're feeling stuck or not sure where to start, try beginning with something small like this. It's amazing how these little wins can build momentum. You don't have to tackle everything all at once, just one drawer or one shelf, just one small step at a time. This shelf has been taunting me for the longest time. And honestly, it's already an improvement from what it used to be. Everything was just piled up on the floor before. But even now, it still feels like it's begging for a little attention. We ended up just moving things from the floor to the shelves without much thought. And there's no real system in place. Most of this stuff is my daughter's. It's funny how someone so tiny can come with so many things. A lot of it actually is just accumulated necessities, and I'll admit I probably bulk shop when things are on sale. To be honest, at first, I felt a little overwhelmed tackling the space. It was something that I wasn't exactly excited about, knowing that there wouldn't be some big, beautiful reveal at the end. These are storage shelves, after all. They're not something pretty, and I'm not looking into changing them. It's not as aesthetic as I want it to be, but it works. I'm slowly learning that not everything needs to be picture perfect to be effective. Sometimes functionality is enough, and that's okay. It's the next day, and I found myself in the mood for a little system update. I used to work in fashion, where trends were a big part of my job. Back then, I loved experimenting with different styles, but as much fun as it was, those trendy fashion photos don't feel like me anymore. Over time, I found myself leaning into simple basics, neutral shades, clean cuts, and pieces that just feel comfortable and practical to my current lifestyle. One of the biggest lessons I've learned is that less really can be more. We wash our clothes twice a week, so I buy just enough of what I need. I choose fabric that dry quickly and don't wrinkle as much, which makes laundry days so much easier and a lot faster. And because I invest in quality over quantity, my clothes last longer, even with frequent use. My system for decluttering my wardrobe is really simple, and it works seamlessly with my daily rhythm. Whenever I come across something that's too worn, something that doesn't fit right, or hasn't been worn in ages, I chuck it into a paper bag. I let it sit there for about a month or until the bag is full before deciding if I'm gonna donate or sell it. It's not just clothes. I add random bits in the bag as I go. Makeup, skincare, anything that no longer fits into my life. This approach keeps things manageable, and instead of waiting for the overwhelm of a massive decluttering session, I handle it in small, consistent steps. This is my daughter's drawer, and just like my own wardrobe, I do a random sweep of hers as needed. Over time, I found a simple rhythm, a kind of intuitive decluttering that keeps her space feeling light and functional. Whenever I notice clothes that no longer fit, or are worn out, or just seem uncomfortable, I pull them out. I've learned not to hold on to things just because they're beautiful. It's hard, but I have only so much space. So if she's not comfortable in them, it's not worth forcing her to actually wear them. She grows so quickly, so her sweeps happen more often than mine. Each one a little reminder of how fleeting these stages are. And like me, she has her own paper bag bin, but hers is mostly for donations. Sentimental pieces or clothes I might need for another baby go into storage, tucked away for the future. This process isn't about managing her things, it's about creating a space that works for her right now. It's a quiet way of letting go of what no longer serves her, while making room for what comes next. This is her donation bin, by the way. It's a lot bigger than mine. My family has been so generous when it comes to giving my daughter clothes. Sometimes a little bit too generous, and honestly, it can be really hard to let some of them go. Actually, I haven't really let them go yet, especially the beautiful pieces that hold a bit of sentiment. But recently, I've started going through them, pulling out what still fits or what feels special. My husband suggested that instead of donating them, maybe I should offer to return them to the family first, just to make sure. It's such a simple step, but I feel like it's the right thing to do. Also, we're going on a winter holiday in Japan this January, and we've been lent so much winter wear by family too. It's such a blessing, but I'm sorting through what we'll actually need and setting aside the rest to return. I also have this bin. It's like an extension of her drawer. It's where I keep things that are too big for her, clothes she doesn't wear daily, or items that just don't fit in her current rotation. Today, I'm doing a quick sweep as I get her donation bin ready. It's such a simple system, but I find that it works. It keeps me grounded, knowing I'm staying on top of her ever-changing needs without letting it overwhelm me. Lately, I've also discovered the joy of secondhand shopping for babies. It's been a bit of a game changer. Babies, they grow so fast, and I realized that selling her gently used items is such a great way to keep things flowing. Whenever I buy her something, I started this before she was born, I always save the box. Then, when she outgrows it, I sell it at 50% off. It moves quickly, and it feels like I got it originally at half the price. Also, another plus is it doesn't take up long-term space in our home when I don't need it anymore. This is my bin of things I have to sell. But I think more than that, I love the idea of passing things on to someone who truly needs them. It's not just about clearing the space, it's about knowing these items will go on to serve another family. If you're looking to do the same, I found Carousel to be such a helpful platform here in the Philippines, but Facebook Marketplace is great too. Simplifying our space has completely shifted how I move through my days. It's such a small change, but it makes a huge difference. Suddenly, there's more time, more clarity, and everything feels lighter. Cleaning my daughter's toys takes around 5 minutes now, and I don't stress about it anymore because everything has a place. I used to think that I had to organize everything perfectly, but honestly, that's just not realistic. Instead, we have a few baskets for her loose toys, and it works beautifully. She's at the age where she loves pulling things out and putting them back. And this simple system, it gives her the freedom to play while keeping our space manageable as well. It may not be picture perfect, but it's practical. And in this season, that's what matters. Here's the thing about simplifying. Sometimes it's not always about less. It's about making intentional choices, even when they seem counterintuitive. Like the other day, I was thinking about selling my daughter's sterilizer. I asked my husband, and he said, "Why rush? We have the space in the kitchen, and we might need it again for another baby." And he was right. Simplifying isn't about getting rid of everything. It's about holding on to what serves you and letting go of what doesn't. It's a process, not a one-time thing. It's about learning what adds value to your life and what just adds noise. I don't think you need to overhaul your whole home in one day. Start small. Think of simplifying as fine-tuning your space. It's not about perfection, and it's not about trying to fit into some minimalist ideal. I think it starts with being mindful of what you bring into your home and making sure the things you keep serve you, not the other way around. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to this. The goal isn't to have the perfect home, and you don't need to have it all figured out right now. And that's okay.